Hey, it's the Missouri Network here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by the Bank of Billings. The Bank of Billings, established in 1898, the oldest bank in Christian County. Also presented by Doak Propane. For all your propane needs, see the folks at Doak. We go now to Central Park Hills High School and head football coach Kory Schweiss. Coach Schweiss, hey, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Guys, off to a good start, 3-2. You sit atop your district right now with that record, your Class 3 District 1. Talk about the season up to this point as far as it's gone.
Well, we've probably handled more adversity this season than I probably have in the 20 years I've been coaching. We have really high expectations for this season, and we've been hit with all kinds of injuries. So, we're hoping to get our guys back at some point this season. I don't know right now. I think maybe we've just had one that might be a season-long thing. So, we started out real good. Started out with our 3 wins, and then in the Cape Central game, lost our starting All-State quarterback on the first offensive series. Also lost another All-State caliber wide receiver, defensive back early on in that game. And we've kind of been battling all kinds of other injuries. So it's really just been kind of trying to put pieces together the last couple of weeks, and it's been pretty rough on us. But we're hoping that all of this will be some adversity that'll help us down the stretch run, hoping we get healthy for the right time of the season.
You've got a big game, this week with Valley Catholic coming into your place. What do you know about Valley Catholic, and what are you going to have to do there?
Well, Judd Nagger is one of the best coaches in Missouri, in my opinion. We go way back. We were high school teammates. We were college roommates. So we coached our first football game 20 years ago against each other. So we've got a lot of history. We didn't play each other for a long time, and our school and Valley both have been pretty dominant schools in Southeast Missouri in our classes. And I think a lot of people wanted to see us play each other, but with the history Judd and I had, we do a lot of talking outside of our teams. We did a lot of talking with each other. So we just never played each other after those first few years. And then, last year they joined our conference, and they actually got bumped up because of the success factor to Class 3. So we ended up having to play them twice last year, and we split. And I think everybody, at least in this area, thought it was probably 2 of the best games that they've seen in a long time with 2 pretty good football teams. So, it's probably one of those things that was probably a good thing that it probably eventually did happen. I think both teams were at a place where it was hard to find good competitive games locally. And this year, I think the expectation was to be a really, really high caliber, good game again this year. And, I think the injuries to our team have kind of put a damper on that a little bit, but obviously we still expect it to be a pretty good football game.
You talk about your history there, 20 years of coaching. Kind of give the folks or the viewers a little bit. Where did you go to high school and college, and how long have you been there at Central Park Hills?
So I went to I actually graduated from Valley Catholic back in 1994. Went to Lindenwood College. At the time, it was just an NAIA school before it moved up to Division II and now Division I. Played a little bit of baseball there, but I didn't really play football. But my experiences playing high school football at Valley, and going to the state championships every year, really gave me a feel for what I wanted to do. And then when I got out of college, I started at a small school in Bismarck, and they didn't have football, and I was only there for a year and a half. And then this opportunity came open at Central. Come over here, was an assistant coach for 4 years before I took the head coaching position back in 2004. So it was tough at first. We didn't have very good football here. It took us a few years before we got it rolling, but since about 2010, we've had a pretty successful program. We've gotten to the quarterfinals 8 of the last 11 years. So we've had some success, but we were having trouble getting over that hump. We've traditionally run into some really good teams like the John Burrows with Ezekiel Elliott, or the Cardinal Ritters. Recently, the Cardinal Ritters and the St. Mary's with all that real good Division I talent. And that's kind of where our seasons come to an end, and we just keep wanting another opportunity. So one of these days, maybe we can crack that Final Four.
You mentioned you've got several kids out. What's preparation been like? Going into this contest.
It's been, and I'm not just saying this, but this has been the hardest 2 weeks in my coaching career as far as preparation goes, just because of a lot of the unknowns. We've got some guys that are hurt, but we don't know when they're going to get back. So you got to almost plan for if they're back and if they're not back. So you got to do two different types of game plans, and then you got to worry about guys knowing what they're going to do if they're in different spots, because some of the guys that are playing would play two or possibly even three different spots, depending on who's all going to be available. So it's been really tough for me personally. I know for our defensive coach, it's been really tough. And then for our players that are going to be for sure playing, it's been tough. We're overloading them with a lot of information, and it always worries you as a coach that you're putting too much on their plate. This isn't a college. And pros, you don't have all day to get this stuff figured out. You've got about 2 hours after school, 4 days a week or whatever. And, I'm just worried that we're putting too much on their plate. And we honestly, at this point, still, we don't know who we're going to have. So it's tough. It's been really tough, and it's been mentally draining. I'm sure I'll be able to sleep really good this weekend after this one's over.
Well, Coach, and I apologize. I had no idea that was going on in your program, but I certainly appreciate you being generous with your time here through the adversity. It sounds like you've got your hands full, but knowing your history, I'm sure you're going to come out of it pretty well.
Yeah, like I said, we've got the big picture. We've got the big picture. We're looking ahead at the big picture. We know Friday's not going to be easy. Valley is like I said, a very well coached team, and it's not going to be easy. But regardless of what happens Friday, we got big picture in mind. We're going to get a lot of our guys back, and then when we do, hopefully we can make a run at this thing. We're the 1 seed right now in our district, but St. John is actually the 2 seed, and they beat us last week by a point without our guys. So it's likely that they'll jump us at the end of the season. We'll probably have to, if we're fortunate enough to play them again in the district, we'll probably have to go down there. But that's fine with us. We don't care where we play them as long as we have our guys back, and hopefully if we got our guys back, we can make a little run.
You bet. Well, Coach, and again, we're visiting with Central Park Hills head football coach Kory Schweiss here on High School Game Day on our LiUNA Laborers Local 663 Team of the Week segment. But again, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and we'll be watching and hoping and praying that everybody comes back healthy.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.